Hey guys, Sublime Studios podcast with you as usual today. And we keep finding and interviewing all the cool people in the area. So today I am talking to Sarah.
Hello, hi.
And Sarah is an interesting person, starting from the way she dresses. As you can see, it's a very festive, very ravey, I would say. And the reason for that is that one of our topics for today is we're going to talk about clubs and raves and all the culture and what is a good rave, what is a bad rave. But also, Sarah has an interesting story. She was born and raised in Vegas, but she lives in Bay Area. And I was curious about what it is to live in Vegas.
Around here, I don't really share with a lot of people that I'm from Las Vegas because I get the Vegas experience projected on me. So I can tell if you had a good time or a bad time after I tell you I'm from Las Vegas. So people are like, oh, Las Vegas, how cool, I love it. And some people are like, oh, Las Vegas. Right, so I can tell.
Vegas, yeah.
Yeah, right, I can tell kind of if they lost their money maybe, they got cheated on. Not really, I don't know, but there's all kinds of things that can happen in Vegas. And, you know, the phrase is what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So my mom actually worked at the convention center when that phrase came out. So they were the company that put it out.
So Vegas though is somewhat a newer-ish town. I think it was built in 1920s. As far as
no, early 1900s. It just turned over 100 years. Gosh, now you're calling me out on my Vegas dates. Even though I was born and raised there.
What happens when you hang out with nerds?
I want to say 1905. Gosh, should I look that up? I believe early 1900s, yeah.
Yeah. And then essentially it was built, again, this is a legend. I don't know how much of it is true, using the money of all the illegal gambling because they wanted a place in the desert where nobody is going to prosecute and prevent them from doing illegal gambling.
No, it wasn't more like that. The reason why Vegas grew so big did have to do with gambling, but it also had to do with the dam that was built.
Hoover Dam.
Right. Correct. Some people call it Boulder Dam. So in my brain, I still call it Boulder Dam because it was built during the Depression. And some people wouldn't give President Hoover the satisfaction of having the dam named after him. So you get some old timers, you know, in the area who will still call it Boulder Dam. It's outside of Boulder City.
It's not Boulder, Colorado.
No, it's Boulder City, Nevada. And it's just, it's on the outskirts of Las Vegas.
Yeah.
It's like a little suburb. Even though it's its own city. Has its own laws.
Yeah, and like Hoover Dam or Boulder Dam, as you say, it's a fascinating creation of
engineering
human life.
Feat,
engineering,
right?
yeah, definitely,
exactly.
for sure.
Yeah, I always would say, have you been on the dam tour? If you haven't been on the dam tour, you need to go on the dam tour.
Dam tour.
The dam tour, Eugene.
Exactly. And I think now it's not attracting as much of a traffic as it should because Colorado River, unfortunately, it's disappearing.
Right, it's drying up, and the lake is drying up, and we're uncovering bodies at a record rate. You know, people would make jokes to me all the time about the mobsters, digging holes in the desert. And, my response is, why dig a hole when there's a lake? Just saying.
Yeah.
No, so my father's been in Las Vegas since 1959. And, he went to school there and went to college at UNLV. My grandmother used to work at the Dunes, which was a very popular casino. Doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
And now in its place is the Bellagio. So that corner right there on Flamingo and Las Vegas Boulevard.
Bellagio is this iconic place with the fountains, right?
Correct. And but before the Bellagio, it was the Dunes.
So they renamed?
No, they blew it up. We do that in Las Vegas. We blow up our buildings.
Because it's more fun to get rid of them.
Yes. You did not know this? That's awesome. Okay, so we do controlled demolitions, and we all gather around this building, and they blow it up. We've even done it for New Year's. They've had ones with numbers on them for countdowns. Wow. I mean, we make a big deal out of blowing our shit up.
This is hilarious. But it's also an attraction. Yeah, like why just waste such a view if you can I don't know, you can sell tickets, I guess, to demolition.
No, it's not. It's literally for the locals.
Okay, so you have to have like a local ID for that.
No, you just have to drive over there
All right.
because it's like watching fireworks in the sky. Who's going to stop you from watching a building being, demolished, via thermite,
So I kind of wanted to ask you, like you as somebody who spent there some substantial amount of time, and even though you are in Bay Area right now, and we can talk about reasons if you want to a bit later, but can you give me 3 great things about Vegas?
3 great things about Las
Yes.
Vegas. We have everything except for waves in an ocean, if you want to talk about naturally.
Yes.
So hiking, camping, skiing, snowboarding. River rafting, everything except surfing, I could say. Also, there's no natural disasters. There's no earthquakes, really. That's like the only one. But, that's why a lot of tech companies set up there.
So technically Vegas is in the desert,
It's in a disaster-free zone as well.
strategically.
Right. It's
Okay.
considered a desert island.
Mhm.
Right.
So-
Fun fact: it's the 9th island according to Hawaiians. Right. We have a very close relationship.
Oh, interesting.
What is the word for family? Mohana. Is that right? Am I saying that right?
Aloha.
Ohana.
Aloha.
I'm trying to get my Disney movies correct in my head
See what
right now.
happens when you learn Hawaiian from Disney.
I know Shaka. But there's a huge Hawaiian population and
Yeah.
Pacific Islander population, huge Filipino population, huge Asian population in Las Vegas.
So where does Vegas get water from?
Lake Mead.
Okay, so basically while there is water in the lake, you guys are fine. You don't like dig it from under the ground? Sorry.
So what we have in our ground is called caliche.
Mhm.
Have you heard of that?
No.
Okay, it's like this really hard rock. On the Mohs scale, it's like 8 or 9. It's pretty hard. And so people who try to build a pool in their backyard, my family has experienced this, they hit this crazy rock and then they have to get this crazy drill. It costs a lot more money. So that's why there's no basements really in houses in Las Vegas either.
Yeah, I've never saw a basement.
No,
Everything
there's a
is-
few. No, they do exist.
All the
There's
way up.
lots of tunnels. There's a whole population that lives in tunnels. Did you know that?
No, there are tunnels in Vegas?
Yes, there's storm drainage systems, and a huge homeless population lives down there.
Yeah.
You can check out YouTube videos about that one. I'm trying to think of the name. People have gone down there. You have to be invited, or you're gonna get hurt. It's very interesting. It's literally like an underground city under Las Vegas that has its own rules, its own enforcement. It's crazy. People have done documentaries on it, but they don't really let outsiders down there,
Fascinating.
It is. It's very, a lot of people don't know about that either.
And it's only for homeless? How much is the membership to live there?
I'm not sure. I think people who just don't want to be based like in basic society, or people who've had problems, or people who, I've been born and raised there. I've seen people come, and I just say this: the town spits them out. It takes a certain kind of person to live there because you have everything accessible 24/7. Like when I moved to California, it was like 1:45 or 1:30, and someone was like, "Last call," and I was like, "What the fuck is last call?"
Oh, yeah.
I was like, "What?"
In Vegas, it's never, there is never last call. Everything is open. But then,
Right.
like to me, I kind of got used to the fact that in California, last call is like at some meaningful time. I remember I tried to get beer in Texas. In Austin, Texas, I tried to get beer. It was like 11 p.m. or something.
Probably not.
And they're like, well, hey, nobody's going to sell you this beer. Like, why you grabbing this?
Right.
It was-
That's not even their legal cutoff time either. It's like the climate of the town that you were
Yeah.
in. Yeah, I had to get used to it a lot. Be able to just go to the store at 2 a.m. No, things close at 10 around here. So, yeah.
Okay. So you touched very interesting. You said very interesting thing. It takes a special person to live in Vegas. So, is it only about entertainment industry? You have to be somewhat affiliated, or are there other kinds?
Oh no, it draws so many people. So I just remember being a little girl and my dad taking me around to all the casinos. And he said, Sarah, you see this beautiful chandelier and these carpets and this beautiful door and all this fancy stuff. He said, this was built by all those people losing money on those tables over there and those machines over there. And that's how this is all pretty and looked great. And it made sense to me. So, like, I know a lot of people who are born and raised in Las Vegas, and we don't gamble that much. Because we'll see people come and, they just get, like, that addiction, that adrenaline rush, and they'll end up, betting the mortgage and then the savings, and then the next thing you know, they've spent everything they had, and that's why, though, no hotel rooms in Las Vegas open. Like, the windows don't open for suicide things. Yeah, and they don't have 13.
That's why
13th floors either. Right.
Well, I think it's common for 13th floor to not exist in a lot of different constructions. At the same time, I didn't know specifics about Vegas. Do you think it's specifically bad number?
Yes. People will refuse to stay in a room if it's on the 13th floor. If they're there
because
to gamble.
Of gambling. Oh, no,
it is so.
Sense,
there's so many superstitions with gambling. Like, you don't say good luck, right?
Okay.
You don't ever. Right, it's bad. It's considered bad luck. You don't ever talk about somebody's hand or like what's going on in their machine or at their table, because if they lose, they'll think you jinxed them.
Okay.
People, yeah. And so I remember going to a casino in a Native American reservation in Arizona. And it was glamorous. And I didn't understand. I was like, why would you guys come to Las Vegas when I'm talking specifically of the Wild Horse Casino? I don't know if you've seen it, but it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful hotel casino. It's Vegas quality, different restaurants, all kinds of games. And I'm like, why do people still come to Las Vegas if you guys have this right here? And my friend explained you can only bet $2,500 a hand.
So it's a casino with limitation of $25
right.
a hand.
And in Las Vegas, there's no.
Yeah, you can lose as much as you want.
Right.
You can go into that and then get a mortgage.
They even give you one. It's called a marker.
Oh.
Some people don't know
Sounds
about that.
dangerous.
We'll talk about that later. Yeah. So I did have a friend who he worked in one of the casinos. I'm not going to say which one, but he did the high end, rollers, and so he would be getting phone calls from like Ben Affleck and Leonardo DiCaprio, and he would send jets for them and, set their digs up for the weekend. And it's just fun to look over and your friend's getting a phone call from
Everyone comes to Vegas.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's like, I think it's the status thing, right? So it's at some point when you get
it's like a rite of passage.
Right.
In this country, so.
Yeah. Even if you don't like Vegas, it's there, and you will eventually go. I've been there multiple times. More like I'm not a gambling person,
So what have you done when you were in Vegas? Because there's so much more than gambling. It's like, what did you do since you don't gamble that much?
Usually for me, it's a stopping point before going further into the country. So.
Okay. So you fly in, or you drove in? Okay.
I've flown, also I've driven, but specifically the last time I've been to Vegas was when I wanted to go around the canyon, and the canyon is large; it spans multiple states. And usually, when people go to Vegas, they go to.
Wait, what canyon are you talking about again?
The canyon.
The Grand one?
Yeah. So usually when people go to Vegas, they go to the west side, West Grand Canyon, which has multiple spots to see, but it's not. I mean, it's cool if you only have like a couple hours to spend there. But what I found more interesting is the South Rim.
Okay.
Which is actually
Arizona.
in Arizona. Yeah, Flagstaff. You usually fly to Flagstaff. You get a car, and you drive to.
I've been to that part.
Right.
I love it. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. That's more like Disneylandish kind of experience. And then if you drive all the way to the
North Rim, the East Rim.
So you go to the east end of the canyon, and that's where there is Horseshoe Bend. There is a tiny town called Page. I think it's Utah. So it's somewhere on the border. And this is where the Horseshoe Bend is, and also another canyon called Antelope Canyon, which is...
Were the famous
yes,
photographs.
Yes. But unfortunately, as soon as you show up at this Antelope Canyon, they tell you, stand here, hold the phone like that, with this angle, wait for the sun to be here, and you're going to get exactly same photo. So everybody who comes there produces thousands of the very same kind of photos of that canyon. This is the attraction there. And
I've seen it all different colors, like pink and blue, where they put a filter on it. I mean, that's just embedded, I think, in everybody's head, that photo that we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
I've never been there personally to that part.
I mean, if you drive somewhere, it's like you have to get to Page, and Page is a very small town of maybe like 7,000 people.
I'm familiar with Utah.
Yeah.
My grandparents retired there, so from Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
So we would leave Las Vegas on our summer vacations and go to Utah and spend a couple months there at a time. So I got familiar with small town life. And lucky, very blessed.
Yeah. To me, it was super boring, but we just needed to spend one night there to see.
Oh, in Las Vegas or Page?
Page. In Vegas, you can spend whole life.
Oh yeah,
Of course,
there's so much to do.
There
Have
is
you
a
ever
lot
seen a
going on.
show in Las Vegas, or have you ever done any of the entertainment side?
Yeah. Shows. Well, there is Cirque du Soleil, of course, which is usually there. There is Penn and Teller show. There are all kinds
Seen
of
Blue Man Group?
I think I haven't seen that. Like you mean? They're
blue and they make music out of
blue.
like
Yes.
objects.
I haven't seen their show though. So
What about Jabberwockies? They're a dance troupe.
Okay, good topic. So name 5 must-see shows in Vegas.
First, I'm going to say any Cirque show is amazing. I had a lot of students whose parents worked, like at Mystere, for example, Mystere, excuse me. So I was gifted tickets for that frequently as a teacher. You're like, oh, here, just give your teacher some tickets to our show, So that was always fun. I love O. I like the water ones. And La Reve is beautiful. Beatles, love if you're a Beatles fan. Tribute to Michael Jackson, definitely a must-see. And Jabberwockies, because I love dancing, and they switch it up all the time. So it's not the same show every time you go.
It's interesting you didn't mention Penn and Teller. You didn't mention...
The comedians? Or the magicians?
They're kind of both, right?
No. David Copperfield is definitely not a comedian.
He's a magician yet.
Yeah.
Does he still do anything in Vegas?
I'm not sure.
I think he was like he was big in like 90s or early 2000s.
I think so. And then Chris Angel came on the scene, right? And then, I basically went to a show if it was somebody else. Oh, except the Avatar Cirque du Soleil show came, and it was a rolling show, so it was just there for a little bit. So I went and saw that on purpose. I like neon bright colors. I've met, which one is the tall one? That one's Penn, right? I think. I can't remember.
I don't really remember.
Yeah.
I think Penn is taller.
Right.
Teller is shorter.
They live there, so you see them at like the Starbucks. And I remember I waited on Andre Agassi one time. Do you know who that is?
The name sounds familiar.
He's a tennis player. Very, very wonderful.
Yeah, Andre. Again, so he was popular back in the 90s.
Right.
Because now he doesn't play anymore.
No, he doesn't play anymore, but he still was a...
Together with
he established a lot of things in Las Vegas. I think he founded a Boys and Girls Club, actually. He's a big philanthropist for our city. So I'll always remember Andre. Nice guy.
Yeah, I think he was popular together with like Serena Williams around the same time.
I think he was a little bit before them, to be honest.
Maybe even before,
Yeah, I think he was the shit at the time. I can't. After John McEnroe, so yeah, I can't. Not a big tennis person either.
Yeah.
I know who Jack Nicklaus is, though.
Jack Nicholson?
Nichols, right? Isn't it Nichols? Nicholson?
The
Am I
actor-
saying it wrong?
The actor?
Don't kill me.
No, who are you talking about?
The golfer.
Oh, okay. I don't know many golfers.
See, I could be slaughtering the name. I know this person and don't know it. We'll look that one up after the show too. But so that's one thing I'm trying to make a point is that Las Vegas has all the celebrities come, all the athletes, and especially the musicians. So I've seen them all. I've seen all the greats. Metallica.
Yeah.
Name somebody.
Anybody.
I don't think
any
anybody is a
musician.
band.
Alice
Anybody?
in Chains.
Alice in Chains?
Yes.
Shit. Okay, you got me.
Bam.
Can't lie
Very first
about
guess.
that one. I know, right? I love them, but I've never seen them. Damn it.
I'm pretty sure they come and everybody comes to Vegas just because of the scale of it. So if you think about the biggest event you can do as an entertainer, you have to go to Vegas.
Right. And then, if you're really
Yeah.
good, you get a residency there. And you get to play at Caesar's Palace for a couple nights a week.
If entertainment is your industry and you make money primarily from entertainment, of course it makes sense to live there.
So something you didn't know is I actually went to a performing arts school. They have a school for entertainers in Las Vegas.
How is it? What is specific about entertainers compared to say any other artists?
So
performer.
it is, the name of the school is Las Vegas Academy
Okay,
of International Studies, Performing and Visual Arts. So
sounds
they call
fancy.
it LVA for short.
Mhm.
And then I went there my freshman year, the first year it opened. So we had to audition. It was like, have you heard of the Fame School in New York?
That's cool.
There's a
sounds familiar,
musical
yes. Mhm.
Fame, right? So we kind of geared LVA towards that. And the first musical we ever did was Fame.
Mhm.
So it was cool. It was a good experience. Instead of just 6 regular high school classes, we took 8.
Mhm.
And we had what was called our major. So you majored in theater, dance, a musical instrument, vocal, tech, like theater, like techie theater, right? Like stagehand stuff, foreign languages.
So that's like graduate degree.
No, it's high school. It's high school.
High school.
It's a public school. It's a
Okay.
charter school.
Mhm.
So, but you still have to audition to get in. That school has put out some really famous actors and actresses, actually.
Mhm.
Like Retina Wesley, she was in my theater class, and she's on that movie or that TV show on HBO with the vampires.
Mhm. Do you keep in touch with her?
Oh, no. I'm just name dropping right now. For sure. Yeah, no, I don't talk to many. I do talk to some people from high school.
Okay.
Keep touch on the social media here and there. But when I do return to Las Vegas, I just see my family.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
go to Area 15. What's Area 15?
I don't know what's Area 15. Can you imagine?
Have you heard of
Tell me.
Area 51?
Yes, that's a famous one because of the all the mystery and the extraterrestrial research and aliens allegedly crashing in this area and so on.
Right. And the government, it's supposed to be like a government base.
Put a huge fence and people are trying to storm that fence.
Right.
And-
That was silly.
Yeah, make a get together, a huge mob and break in, but that never happens actually.
Yeah. One thing I do want to point out is when people were protesting for George Floyd, I will say that Las Vegans, they did take to the streets and they protested with banners and passion, but they didn't destroy businesses or the face of the community. They didn't go around like smashing buildings and, so I think that they were onto something, because I saw what happened in other cities and it just seemed,
So you do think that
there's a big community there. There's a big sense of community.
correct, but
Right. So like we're gonna stand together against this injustice together, but we're not gonna cause injustice to more people.
Yeah, we're not going to cause damage. We're not going to do like any kind of
Right. We're not going to be a bunch of
misbehavior.
hypocrites running
Yeah.
around destroying stuff in the name of people destroying things,
So
or whatever.
What's Area 15? Is it the same as 51? Is it just a
No,
sign?
it's like a really cool interactive museum.
Oh, okay. But it's themed after 51.
Well, there's all kinds of different things in there. They even made an expansion where they have concerts. So it's definitely based on art and creativity. They have tons of it's immersive exhibits. For example, there's a grocery store that you can go into. And if you ever seen weird photos of people or weird stuff in the grocery store, it's probably from Area 15. In this grocery store in there, I think it's called Meow Wolf.
How weird we're talking.
Weird. Like all of the items look like regular American items, but are misnamed something silly or goofy. And then if you go deep enough, I'm not going to give it away if you haven't been there, but there's these secret passageways
If we go to
in
Vegas,
the grocery
then
store.
If you go to Vegas, you'll be my guide.
Yeah, for sure. But in the grocery store, and it takes you into a huge museum that's over 4,000 or 5,000 square feet of just different rooms and just different experiences with sound and light and music and just it's something you have to experience. So that's where I send everybody now if they go to Las Vegas. They're like, where should I go? What should I do? I'm like, Area 15.
Yeah.
And if you're lucky, they'll have a famous DJ playing that night or something.
At the museum.
Yeah. It's not really a museum though, man.
So it's
I don't know how to, it's like an art exhibit.
even the museum in Vegas has a DJ.
Yeah, pretty much. Exactly. And slot machines. No, I don't think there's slot machines there.
So speaking of DJs, so there are clubs. Well, typical establishment where you can, you can go and depending on who you can get either VIP and so on.
Right, or get on the guest list, and then
Yeah.
there's club attire. They're strict depending on which club you're at.
So there are cities like Vegas, New York, maybe LA, and Miami, which are notorious for the bouncers doing very meticulous job in only letting specific kind of people into the clubs.
Right,
So,
or they'll make you
yeah.
I remember one time we had to stand out in front for so long, and it was because they were using my friends and I as eye candy. Right? Instead of letting us in right away, they were using us to build up the line. And they'll do that too. They'll make the line build up. And they'll, nobody's going in for a good 20 minutes because they need a big line out front to make it look poppin'.
Yeah, so I want to mention that I'm reading a book called Very Important People by Ashley Mears, I guess, or Mears.
Oh, you've read a book?
I'm reading this book right now.
Okay.
And it talks about the life and the career choices and the profession of a promoter. Back in the day, maybe 10 years ago, not now, but the book takes a while to write, and then you have to kind of collect enough information first. That's why it maybe talks about events which happened 10 years ago or so. But it kind of shows the whole process of compiling this artificial environment for the clubs to get the right people such that they
Right.
spend.
It's called creating your network, right?
Yeah.
Right. You're creating a network, and back in the day, it's Vegas never, not back in the day. To this day, it's all about who you know. Everyone says that, it's that way in this city too, but it really is that way in Las Vegas. You could be the best applicant out of 20 people, and if this person over here knows somebody and you don't, their application's getting pulled first and they're getting hired for the job. And that's just how the town works. Yeah, it's like that. And so when before, when they had promoters, because I've been 21 for a few years now, they, it was just kind of if you knew the guy at the door, you know. And if you just walk up,
If you
like
know the
I would just
bouncer,
walk
yeah.
up to the front of the line with like me and another girlfriend or a couple girls
Mm-hmm.
and just act like I was hot shit and I belonged in front and I deserved to cut all of those people. Oh, fuck yeah, they let me in, no problem. Like I never really waited in line ever
Mm-hmm.
until that last time I was there with a bunch of, I was there for like a bachelorette party, but yeah, I think they were using us as eye candy. So I've never seen that before. So it was definitely, I remember.
That book I mentioned explains why. So
Because then it draws more people to the club. I mean,
so
Yeah.
here is the simple math. The clubs generate revenue from selling very expensive drinks and basically serving tables. Tables is the bread and butter, not the bar. Bar is basically
no,
for
table service, bottle
correct
service.
a bottle service.
$5,000 minimum, baby.
Exactly. So now, usually guys have this kind of money. There are girls who go to clubs and buy tables, but they are the minority there.
Right. Girls usually try to go to, like, I've known girls who they just go to clubs to get at guys' tables for free drinks. They'll go like
Yeah, so
from table to table to table to table, you know.
I'll get to that.
Oh, my bad.
So no, your knowledge is correct. It's just this book is very like it
Okay.
goes above and beyond to attract the kind of caliber of wealthy men who are willing to buy this kind of tables and spend all this money. There are special like even like hierarchy of men. The guy who usually spends the most amount of money is called the whale because he can just dump huge amounts of money just to feel like he runs the party and he makes things happen. There are very few whales, as you can imagine. If people can do math, then they usually don't spend $100,000 per night.
Right.
But people who do, they're called whales.
Mm-hmm.
There are very few of them. And then there are those, say, like usual people who like to spend a bit more and be part of some kind of status, exclusive environment,
It's a lot of
VIP.
status symbols.
Yes.
Mhm.
So basically, it's a way for them to buy VIP status through getting a table.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where $5,000 comes into play.
That's like your basic table, though. Like what they have now is you can actually buy a table behind the DJ, so it looks like you know the DJ.
Yeah.
So I'm always like, how do they know the DJ? But they
But
just bought
does
the
the
booth
DJ
back
know
there,
you? That's
so,
the question.
Yeah.
You know?
There's the answer.
Does the DJ know you? And also DJs, DJs are now the shit. You know, they get the crowds. But it wasn't like that all the time. Like
No.
20 years ago, nobody knew like who was like David Guetta.
Sandstorm.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to think. They did not have as many pool parties,
Mhm.
right, when I was growing up there because that wasn't a thing, or I would have been going to them for sure.
Yeah.
Right? I was clubbing every weekend when I first turned 21. I was going to all the popular places, some clubs that don't even exist anymore.
Mhm.
I was regular at them. You know, I would go on this day to this club and this day on this club, right? But now when I go to these day clubs, which are pool parties.
Yeah.
Because why wear high heels and a dress when you can just wear your bikini? They have this guy, there's this rapper guy, I don't even know who it was, but he does this little thing called the Vegas Girl Walk.
Okay.
And it shows, like, how many times have you seen girls walking around the strip or, like, the casino with no shoes on?
Not
At the
many.
end of the night. At the end of the night, though. Like 4 a.m., 5 a.m.
If they are drunk, then always because
Right, because they just were at the club all night long and their
they are
feet
tired.
are killing them. Right?
Of wearing that.
So he's got one called the President, where like they just don't even like acknowledge. They just put their hand up like this.
Mhm.
Some guy's hitting on them and they're like this.
Mhm.
Got one where it's called the Giraffe because the high heels are too floppy, so they're always like breaking their ankles, falling, over.
Wow.
He's got one called the Pinball, where the girl runs into this person and then that person and then this person and just kind of pings around people. But what's funny is when he's doing the rap, he has the visuals. There's like girls in like little dresses, like Vegas,
Mhm.
like either falling over on their shoes or bumping into people, or it's hilarious. You have to check it out. It's called
So-
Vegas Girl Walk.
Fantastic.
Because there's all these different walks that you see these women doing at the end of the night. or the beginning of the night, you know, and they're little.
There is no such thing as end or beginning in Vegas. It's just you can start partying at like 11 p.m. and then
I know.
be up all night and then go to
the club does close at 4, but then you just go to a different club.
Then you have like
yeah.
pool party starting at like 8
11
8 a.m. or 11. Okay.
Yeah, so then you go to your after hours, and the best after hours, and it's worldwide, infamously known, you know, as Dre's.
What's this?
It's called Dre's.
Dre's. Okay.
Dre's after hours. It's used to be the Barbary Coast. God, what's the name of that casino now? They just changed it. The Cromwell. So I think I got to look at a map, dude. I've been in the Bay Area for 4 years now. So when people are like Vegas this, and I'm like, it changes every time I go. There's something new. I'm like, what the fuck building is that over there? But yeah, that's why sometimes I love it, because I do get to experience that part of Vegas like a for real tourist, you know?
Yeah.
There's a new club at the Resort World that I haven't been to that I'm excited to go to.
So do you think it's any different from the way the club culture or club environment is set up, or do you think it's going to be very similar to?
Well, compared to the clubs that I've been to, like in, let's say, SF.
That's the reason why I didn't put SF on the very same list as New York and Miami.
Right, the
So
clubs are completely different.
you can, if you don't maintain that high status VIP vibe in the club, you are a liability for the club, because when guys with money come and they see that it's just regular people in the VIP, they don't want to be there. They want to go to some other club. And
so true.
Every club has like different stages in their lives. So one of them is when they just opened and they say, we are the the hottest, the most exclusive club in the area. And they can be most exclusive for a bit. They're going to actually do a lot of like groundwork to bring the best possible, the best looking females. So the reason why you were able to get into pretty much any club, because you help the club to maintain this VIP status. Look at all those tall, blonde.
Right?
Yes. So you are the perfect Vegas girl.
Thanks.
Yes. So now, if you don't look like, and again, like I don't want to discriminate anybody, but if you don't look like the bouncer thinks you should look to maintain the status, they will ask you to wait, and this wait usually might end never.
Yes, there's been people who will never get in, and they'll wait and wait and wait until they get the hint.
The bouncers are just not being rude to you by kicking you out. They will say, "Hey, can you step aside?" That's it.
Right. Right.
Which means that aside where. This is the experience. I saw girls being asked to step aside for other reasons. I spent most of my clubbing years in Boston. And Boston is very mellow. They don't have such a high criteria.
Yeah, it's got Harvard, Ivy League, you know.
Yeah, but sometimes bouncers say step aside when they don't like your ID, for example. You see, like your ID looks funky, and they'll say, hey, step aside. So it's that. In San Francisco as well, nobody will do the face control. It's the proper term is face control. It's somewhat illegal.
Right. It's like
in this country specifically, but say in Europe, in Eastern Europe specifically, it's very common.
I didn't even know how to name face control.
So it's called face control. Basically, if your face is pretty enough, you are in. So
except in San Francisco, by the way, because the other day, my tickets wouldn't upload to the scanny thing, dude, and this guy would not let me in, man. And I just happened to talk to the head guy, first person I ran up to around the corner from the building, because the line was so long, right? And I was like, dude, they're not loading. What do I do? And he was like, so then after just standing outside for probably 25, 30 minutes and talking to a bunch of different people, and they're like, you got to go talk to so-and-so. I'm like, I did talk to dude over there. And anyway, he came back and he went upstairs and got his laptop for me.
Wow.
And looked up my numbers and let me and my friends in with the tickets I had, even though they didn't upload. But he must have told me no 10 times. He was like, there's nothing I can do for you. It's a third party that you purchased it from, and shit out of luck, bye. And I was like, what about my pretty face? I don't get in. Not in San Francisco. I did not. No, he was nice at the end. So, but
Yeah, San Francisco is definitely maybe defying all this idea. I don't really know if clubs are making that much money here because of that. Though, yeah, the reason why you are able to get into a lot of clubs, especially in towns like Vegas and I guess Miami and New York, is because you match this profile of what they want to see. You can get in for free, and it's not really a hack or anything. It's just the way club industry operates. You can get in for free and maybe even get a VIP table if you bring a lot of
girls.
Yes, they're called girls.
Right. The promoter always asks your ratio of your party. How many guys to how many girls?
For a reason,
they want to
yes.
know.
So if you show up at the club with like 2 or 3 stunning girls and just come up to the bouncer, hey, so listen, is there a way we can get a table at this club? They will let you in because you're bringing those eye candies, which are going to make the club look better. So this is how it's all about. It's basically casting. So the bouncers they do casting from the street into the club, and I mean it's sad that you don't really know about that. So when you go for audition for a role or anything, it's very obvious, that they are doing casting, and you go there and you show off your talent. In acting, you have to have both. You have to have the looks, but there are lots of people who do have the looks. So now do you have the talent after? So that's why it's so difficult to land the role. But in the club, it's all about the looks, unfortunately, and that's why.
And the moves.
What do you mean by the moves?
I mean, if you're just standing there like a starfish or whatever, just like a dead, and you're not having a good time, and you're not moving, you're not dancing, you're not doing anything, right? They don't want sad girls in the club. I've watched bouncers ask sad girls to leave.
Really?
Right? Like a girl maybe was drinking too much and she just like a song came on or something. And
well, drinking too much is also a liability.
But,
for the club.
sad. Not like she wouldn't have lost her control of her emotions in public if she wasn't drinking a little bit. I mean, obviously, if she's like shit faced, yeah, they're gonna have her leave.
Mm.
Like, yeah, the public intoxication is no bueno there. Like when my cousin went, she got pretty tipsy one day and she just wanted to sit down. And we were outside on Fremont Street. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's like got this ceiling that's like a big TV. It's got all kinds of, zip lining, and it's like a whole thing. Yeah, she just wanted to sit down, and she sat down for like 1 second. Next, like police officers were turning towards her like, you got to get up. You can't even sit down there on the ground. It's
yeah.
No public intoxication.
No public intoxication.
Okay, I got a story for you real quick.
Yeah, go on.
It was a casino was closing. It was called O'Shea's. Now there's like a replica of O'Shea's there, but it was a big one, and it used to be where the Link is now, where the High Roller is, the big, right? So it was the last night, and so it was packed with locals because they had like dollar drinks. I don't even know. It was like we're closing, like it's our last shebang, whatever, right? So me and my girlfriend go there, and everybody is just partying their ass off, and we get deep in the center bar, and there's a guy passed out on the slot machine, like on the bar with like just everything's going crazy. It's prime time, right? And so my ass was just like, anybody have a marker? And before you know it, somebody produced like a marker. And so people started drawing on this poor guy. I wrote faded on the back of his neck. That was my contribution. But so like the bartender saw what we were doing. And he was like, you girls are bad as fuck. Let me give you a shot. So he gave me and my girlfriend a shot for free, right? Just because we were making the party happen. We were hella people were entertained that we were writing on this guy. Well, then this old-timer bartender came out, and he got pissed that this guy was passed out on the bar because it's not allowed, right? And he called security. So then I felt bad. And to rectify my bad karma, I shook the shit out of this guy and woke him up. And I was like, wake the fuck up, right? And he gets up. He's like, what's going on? And sees me and my friend, immediately starts hitting on my girlfriend. It's like, hey, baby, what's up? And we're just looking at him with his dick right here. Like, he had no idea at all. They're like, and I have a photo of it in my phone because I took photos of that shit.
Hilarious.
proof. You gotta have proof or it didn't happen. I gotta have a photo or it didn't happen. But yeah, I was like, we're gonna go before you realize that you have been like tagged on, bro. We're out. So yeah, that was a funny Vegas story. I don't know what kind of night he had. He might have ended up in jail. Who knows?
For public intoxication?
they have a separate kind of jail in Vegas called the drunk tank. Have you heard of it?
So it's different from like when you get, say, a DUI, which I think happens quite regularly.
Like here in California, you mean?
I've never gotten a DUI for obvious reasons.
Right. Me either, so I don't know.
I don't drink anymore, so to me it's like... but what I know is that you will go to like a regular jail, not there's any special kind of jail.
So in Las Vegas, they
alcohol.
have so many people who are...
Intoxicated.
Right,
And
arrested for public intoxication
not
or
just
driving under the
alcohol, yeah.
influence, right?
Yes.
So we call it a DUI, or is it DUI in California? Because some other states call it a DWI, driving while intoxicated, and then it's driving under the influence.
How is this different?
Just depends on what state you're from,
So
the
if
way
you-
they label it.
What if I'm influenced by some public speaker or inspiring person? Am I driving under influence? If I'm listening to a
Right,
podcast.
that's a great argument there. I'm going to try that with Metro tomorrow. Just kidding. Oh my God. The Metro is the
Exactly.
name of the...
But also, what's
Law
interesting is
enforcement.
intoxication doesn't really mean it's only like alcohol or weed or drugs. You can take any kind of medical substance, right? Which
Right. If
to help
any
with
type
your
of
health.
substance is altering your behavior in a negative
Right.
way.
Right.
But they have like a special like place that they take you if you are intoxicated. It's not like it's not the normal jail.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. So it's the drunk tank. It's known you go there for 24 hours and then you're released.
And no record or anything?
No, you're arrested.
Oh, okay.
You're arrested, yeah. Las Vegas, Nevada used to be very strict on substances. In fact, it used to be a felony for one pot seed. 30 years in jail for one pot seed.
Wow.
It was so strict. Yeah, the whole
And what
city is
happens?
run by Mormons, like LDS, Latter-day Saints.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Las Vegas is actually on the Mormon Trail. And Harry Reid, he was Nevada senator. He's actually Mormon.
Mm-hmm. And I think now there are lots of things which are legal there, right?
Marijuana's legal there, but it took a while.
Much,
We had medical marijuana for a few years, and then recreational
Mm-hmm.
came. But still, anything else is illegal.
Oh, interesting.
You can get up to 4 years for a first offense for anything else.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I know. I actually just looked it up yesterday.
Compared to all the stories you hear about adventures in Vegas.
They have a TV show. I can't remember what it's called, but it was they have the big music festival there, EDC, Electric Daisy Carnival, and they were doing like a TV show on all of the ravers who were being arrested for just like rave party favors. But it's still,
Yeah.
yeah. They must have been like stupidly just doing it out in the open in front of a police officer because normally the city is cool with they're just like, you guys go here and be safe, I mean, all the police officers know that all those people who are going to that festival, most of them are going there to...
Not the first time, I guess, right? Coming to festivals like this. So were you like a huge party goer, like underground raves?
I was, yeah. Before I was 21, I raved in a warehouse. Lots of warehouses off the streets of Presidio and Highland.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember hearing the word insomniac and
Mm-hmm.
happy hardcore. And back then, ravers, they would make their pants out of blankets, like fuzzy children blankets, and they would wear their backpacks out of cereal boxes. Like you would make like crazy candy rave stuff yourself. It was a different kind of rave. Our only lights were like fucking glow sticks and shit, man. Like, I mean, there were lasers, but like what people would wear in terms of like rave gear. Glow sticks, baby.
Yeah, it's
Hold
all
it
about
like this and do this thing.
self-expression. So are you talking about times before, like
Yeah,
Burning
before
Man?
EDM exploded, I want to say.
Yeah.
Right.
It always, like, this kind of music was always the underground until maybe like late
Right,
90s
exactly.
well, we got like bands like Scooter, like How Much Is the Fish and so on. So they kind of popularized rave, like this like hard style.
Who?
I know Scooter. Do you know the guys?
No.
Oh, interesting.
There's a DJ named Scooter.
Uh, they're German. That's why. I
There's
mean,
an
and
artist
I'm
named
talking
Scooter.
about because I went through this phase back in Europe.
Uh-huh. See, Europe is so into EDM. That's where so many of the greats come from.
Mm-hmm.
Amsterdam, man. Yeah, but I have never heard of Scooter. I'm gonna look them up.
But we did have some really good developments in the 80s in this country. And
Run DMC, baby. Just kidding.
specifically house music was kind of invented in 80s in a few spots, but primarily the reason why it's called house because there was an underground club called Warehouse.
Right.
So they like, well, let's go to house.
That's my Apple location. So if you're sharing my location on Find My, it says I wear house.
Mm-hmm.
So all my friends see that.
Warehouse.
You're
So
not Apple, are you? You're.
I don't share my location. Why would I share?
Do you know what? I used to think that too, and then I'm like, why do I care if my friends know where I am?
Yeah.
I mean, the phone already knows where I am. So
I mean, if you are going on some weird date, then probably it makes sense to share your location in case, so they know where to find your body in case of anything. But outside of that, it's like, or you say if you are trying to meet with somebody and it's very like open-ended, that's another situation where you will share your location.
it's not even showing up on. I can't even show you where it says it.
Well, anyway, so
Anyway, the location of the locations.
the specifics of rave, it's very different from what clubs are, and even if you hear very similar music playing in clubs, well, first no club will play same music as in underground rave would play because the crowd is very different and it's not for everybody. Firstly, even like techno per se wasn't popular at all. Like now it's kind of here and there, but 20 years ago techno was very like you have to be in specific state of mind.
Right. It was an acquired taste or an acquired
Right.
Like you had to be on this kind of drug with this kind of people or in this kind of environment in order to. Right. I mean, I used to kind of diss on electric dance music. Like I'd be like, how hard is it to push a button? Like, God, I was way into rock and roll. Like my favorite band is Tool. So I would talk shit about.
Tool is a very ephemeral band. They get together, come up with an album, and then they disappear for
They're
like
amazing.
2-3 years. Sometimes they go on concerts, but usually it's not really a band. They don't exist in the same sense. Even though they had maybe like 11 or 12 albums by now.
6.
6? Okay, maybe I just heard way too much of Tool. So anyways, my point is that raves have that attraction and mystery around them because, well, it's very underground, very, you don't know where it is usually. And that's why
Right.
it's so attractive
You
because
would get like
you
a
have
flyer where you have to call a phone number, and then they would tell you which warehouse it was at.
I'll tell you how.
Yeah.
So I can tell you how it was done in Boston.
Okay.
And that's what I see like modern clubs are trying to do, specifically the after-hour clubs. But after-hour club is nothing similar to rave. So they're just trying to sell it in this using same mechanism. So when you get a text message saying, hey, there is like a secret after-hour party, you have to be on the guest list. And then this text message is your invitation. It's not really, you're kind of giving away this whole like mystery. So like guys, if you do this kind of promotion for your after hours events, please don't make it look like it's an underground rave or anything. Just say, hey, after hours at this address.
Yeah, they call it the afters now. I
Yeah.
just
Like,
was
why would
fortunate
you-
enough to experience that in SF. Like I've been to so many shows in SF, and I finally I met my DJ friend, and it's like come to the afters with me, and it was like I wouldn't have got in or even known where it was if I wasn't with that DJ person, right? So, but like Dre is like one of the most popular afters in Las Vegas for clubs, right? I spent a bachelorette party there one time, and one room was all geared towards hip hop music, right? And then you go in the other room, and it was more like EDM and the pop music that was going on, but it was all really for dancing. I mean, at least that's what I was going there for, and a lot of people go there, you know, to dance still.
Yeah. Raves are all about dancing,
right?
And also, it's all about bringing your friends with you and
well, the clubs too. You know, if you're just sitting in a booth and not moving, or you're not dancing in the club, you stand out as like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
So clubs are for status, as I mentioned. The whole business model of clubs is to attract wealthy men to spend money on tables. Everything else is just the environment. So they have this justification to spend money. Well, raves don't have any of that.
No, you're right.
A lot of raves are volunteering. That people just doing this bit for the sake of getting together and listening to good music. And that's why, you know, there is all this creativity around costumes and dressing up and so on. So it's kind of same idea as Burning Man. You see?
Okay.
But also a lot of those raves, they're very open-minded. It's like, you know, there's a joke, you know, I went to rave and all people are healthy. I never saw anybody with a bottle of beer there, you know.
Right.
Because everybody's on something else.
Right.
So here's how you know a rave is good. There are no text messages. There are no invitations. None of that. You heard about an event from a friend of your friend. You know approximate location where it's happening. So you go there and it's dark and you have no idea something is happening there at all.
Scary.
You don't know where exactly, but there is one dude just chilling somewhere on the corner, smoking or checking his phone and whatnot. So you come up to this dude and you have to say a code word.
Like a phrase or
phrase. And this phrase is unique. It's like a token for that specific event. Every event has its own token. You don't need to say hi. You don't need to say, hey, is there an event happening?
It's like a password, right?
They will not even talk to you. They have no idea what there is any kind of event happening. I'm just here smoking.
Yeah.
Go away.
Yeah.
That's what they say. But they do respond to your secret phrase. So you say a secret phrase. They don't say anything. They just, okay, follow me. They take you around the corner and open the door, and that's where there is a different universe. That's how you know the rave is good. So please, do not try to make your events mysterious in a similar fashion if it's not a true rave.
Oh my gosh, that just reminds me. I just saw some people in LA like a few weeks ago did an underground rave. And my friend went, and it's like my first underground rave, and it was literally underground. Like they went like down this tunnel,
basements,
and then you see all these people entering this tunnel, and then it's dark. It was like some water shaft. There was graffiti in all the tunnels. Like it was definitely, you know. And then they went around this corner, and it was lasers, and there was a DJ, and I don't know how they got the power down there, but it just seemed really cool. It was a different kind of underground rave, right? It was like literally an underground rave.
Okay, so let me ask you this: What was the? And I have a story to tell, but I want to listen to your story first. What was the most ridiculous adventure you've ever experienced going to a rave or being inside of the venue where the rave is happening?
Gosh, let me think about that one.
So. Yeah, well,
adventurous, like good or bad? Because I have a good one and I have bad ones. Like my friend was, she was slipped some fentanyl 2 years ago at a rave called Beyond Wonderland in the VIP section. And we still don't know how she was given it, like if it was in her drink or somebody just kind of in her face. But like she came up to me like staggering, and I just saw her like fading. And I was like, I didn't know at first. I was like, how the fuck did you get so, this is what I say to her. I'm like, how did you get so drunk so fast? Like, right. And then I had some people hold her in the chair and I was pouring like ice water on her back and she would like move, but nothing. And so then it was just like, I need the medics. And we went back to the medic tent and the little buggy thing. And they took her on a gurney and I like was not even a minute. And then they came and they're like, are you with her? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, well, your friend was given fentanyl. And I'm like, what? And they're like, we know she was given fentanyl because we just gave her some Narcan and shoved it up her nose. And she's sitting up talking fine and she's happy and good to go. And I was like, yeah. So she doesn't remember taking it. She definitely didn't take anything from anybody. And so it might have been something just simple as her like looking like this and somebody putting it in her drink while she was, it was, yeah. So that was a really bad experience. I haven't actually even been back to that venue since. Because when that happened, my friend told me that somebody put some fentanyl in the bottle at a VIP table. So everybody at the table was like knocked out until somebody went, what's up with that table over there? Why is everybody passed out at that table at this rave? It was at Hard Summer was the name of that rave. And they got all those people medically taken care of quickly. But, time is of the essence with that stuff. It's just scary. It's like a different world now, raving, honestly, than it was before.
So that's what happens when there is no control or management of the environment. And there is much more trust. Right. So basically also, keep in mind that.
I know one of the guys, the guy who owns that company, I know one of his friends. Like one of his best friends since he was in high school. I don't actually know their history, but I messaged him. I hit him up. I was like, hey, this happened to our friend. And he knows who it happened to at Beyond Wonderland. I was like, why don't you guys have cameras? I was like, why don't you guys have cameras there? Like, let's get these fucking people who are drugging people and arrest them and, get them out of our rave scene. So they're just there to cause problems or hurt people.
Do you think it's possible to actually see who does what if it's dark?
I think where we were, and if there were cameras, hell yeah. Okay. We were in like a very kind of open area with tables. There wasn't that many people around. Definitely if there was cameras, we would have seen who did what. There's no doubt in my mind. I would have been able to.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah.
Okay, can you give a more positive story?
Yes, I can. Yeah. My first big festival, EDC. Okay, so I had gone before when it first came to Las Vegas because I was a local and my friend was working and snuck me in and I was there wearing jeans. And again, I'm like, how hard is it to push a button? So I'm already talking shit about, electric dance music and I was not into the scene. But when I went in 2016, I had just busted my tailbone. Okay, 3 days before EDC. And I am I had never really gone, but I really did like the music. I was coming around to it. And anyway, I went and rented a wheelchair from the medical store. And I decorated it with flowers and cool lights. And I went to my first EDC, for real ever. And everybody was so fucking awesome. They lifted me up my wheelchair and put me to the front at Above and Beyond. And I was like, I'm a daisy for life. Everybody just was so genuinely concerned about their neighbor's well-being, which is why I really love that community.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's how I feel humanity would be if all of our needs were met. That's why I'm so drawn to that, the lifestyle of peace, love, unity, respect. Did you know that's why they wear the beads?
That's very hippie-ish kind of
Okay,
thing.
Have you seen the ravers? They wear the candy beads?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
the reason why they wear those...
They're also iridescent, right?
is to trade.
To trade.
So if I see you at a rave, excuse me, and I'm vibing out, I'll be like, yeah, and I'll go, give me your hand. And then you go like this. You go, peace. I would take your hand. You go, peace. Love, you make a heart. Oops. And then you go, unity. And then you give the candy. You trade the beads. And then they give you one. So that's why everybody wears those beads, is to give them away.
Oh, that makes so much sense now.
Yeah, it's to trade. It's it's to feel connected. It's a unifying type thing.
Edible candy, right? So
they're made out of the plastic beads.
Oh, I was thinking
it's called candy. We call it candy, but Now, I wouldn't want to eat something that was on somebody's sweaty ass wrist.
Exactly.
But I'll wear your candy, like, because people put a lot of work into it. Have you ever seen like the cuffs? They make these big, crazy. Should have brought some of my stuff.
Yeah, show us next time.
Next time, I thought we were talking about Vegas mostly. But you know what? Vegas now, we totally open up the whole city for EDC. Like, it's one of our biggest events ever. Like, the whole city becomes EDC friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, every hotel, right? They'll play rave music in the grocery stores.
Oh,
during
I see.
EDC week. They call it EDC week.
That's fun. I want to be there.
Yeah, people
this
go
time.
there a whole week before EDC now. And they'll go to all the clubs
So
and the pool parties. And
EDC is only one day, one night?
it's three nights. So it starts on a Friday night. It opens at 4 p.m.,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it goes until like 6 a.m., right? And then it opens again at 4 p.m. on Saturday night, 6 a.m., and then it goes the same Sunday night till Monday morning.
Cool.
Yeah, and so they have they're like, come to this club for this kind of EDM,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like if you like bass, trap music, if you like house music, go to this club because these house artists are going to be there. The whole city is like sectioned off by what kind of genre of EDM you like.
Very cool.
It's so cool. It's called EDC Week. I know. I should sell stuff for EDC.
It's still not like if you do this kind of music at the club, it's not really a rave anymore. You know?
So it depends on the artist. So I have seen a certain artist play at a Las Vegas club, right? And I'll go and you'll get a mix. You'll get a mix of people there at like their bachelor party. Or you get like the whale group that you're talking about, right? And you'll get like people there for status. But then you get people who generally go just for the artist. And we can always find each other right away. And that it just happens, but a little weird little rave family crew forms at these clubs. Because they're like, I'm here for the music. These guys are here for the Vegas adventure.
Yes.
And it just happens, and nobody, everybody gets along. And that's what's good about it. Yeah. You got to experience. It's fun. I'll take you.
Yeah. We should go and check it out. Cool. Okay, that's pretty much all I had for you.
And in words of Little John, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't do it right.
Do you wanna try to switch roles and?
Ask you more questions?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I've been asking you a lot of questions about your Vegas experiences. You don't remember? You'll have to go back and watch. I've been throwing out a lot of questions.
Like honestly, I never went to a club in Vegas. You see, and
have you been to a club in SF?
no, I'm typically a club person, but I go to.
Because I tried to invite you to a club one time and you didn't go.
I go to clubs because of the music.
Right.
So for me, it's about who is the DJ.
Do you remember who I tried to invite you to see? I don't.
Maybe I don't like the DJ. That's why I didn't go. You see?
Probably.
There are very few. Like I love house music.
Is it James Hype?
I think he's more.
He's totally house.
More trance, Or there is.
See, I don't even know, dude. There's so many like genres of EDM.
Yeah, I can explain the differences between like genres.
Only a European can do this, people.
Thank you.
Just kidding. No, I'm not. But yeah, go on, please explain the differences.
Are you
I
interested?
still don't know.
Okay, so music has any kind of music has very well defined set of parameters. So one of them is the tempo. Another one is the key. So basically, what's the bass combination of notes? It's called the key, and it can be any of the 12 bass notes.
So it's like if it's over something BPMs, right? Then it's
BPM,
like
yes. So
it's a certain genre, right?
Well, you still have to kind of listen to what music is, because say rock music can be anything from 60 to like 90 BPM, you see. But rock music is a lot about actual live drums. There's a human being who actually operates the drums, and as a human being, you only can produce
so many BPMs.
so many
right?
BPMs.
Yeah.
Yes. unless you use a drum machine. So this is where it can get faster. But as soon as you switch to EDM, you have no
Unless
limitation.
you're the guy from Def Leppard.
Oh, yeah. That's an example. So house music is between, I would say, maybe 100, 105, 110 into 125, 130 BPM. That's where you get into like loungy, deep house, tech house, and so on. If you go higher in BPM, you get into trance. Trance is like 100, maybe 30, 40.
What's like dubstep?
Well, I don't remember the BPMs, but dubstep has a specific rhythmic signature. It's those famous drums, like tunts, tun, tut, tut, tunts, so and it repeats.
The first time I ever heard it, I thought it was made from like power tools, like the Blue Man Group, right? But like with drills, saws. So I was drill, saws.
As my friend calls it, like a nosebleed music.
I love it. I can't get enough of it. Did you know that Shaquille O'Neal is a dubstep bass DJ?
No.
Yeah, bro. His name is DJ Diesel.
Diesel?
And he's so hard. Dude, I just saw him at San Jose Civic like a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
He headbangs.
Wow.
Yeah.
But Shaquille O'Neal used to be like an NBA player, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very cool.
They're like the big giant guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, like to me, I used to be DJ myself back in Boston times, and before that, I mean, my mom used to be a teacher in musical college. Oh shit. So she taught me all the theory, plus she had me play 3 instruments.
What instruments did you play, or do you play?
Like now I play guitar only. I forgot everything else. Well, I mean, there's piano and so on, but playing instrument is a lot about muscle memory.
Right,
so
it's a stringed instrument, right? Like because you can read music, you can read sheet music, right?
Yeah. So it's a lot about if you stop practicing, then
you lose
this
it.
memory kind of goes away. So you have to kind of remember everything back. But then with practice, you can regain those skills. So, anyways, the point is that I'm very picky about the music.
When you produced electronic music, how did you produce that? Did you use like a DAWs? Which DAWs did you use?
Oh, okay. So I haven't done that many of my own tracks. Like being a DJ primarily is about, taking multiple, usually 2, but sometimes it can be more, especially if you use samples. When you do sampling, you can say you like say a vocal part, which you want to kind of isolate and put on some kind of beat or bass. And this is where you start to kind of mix and match them together, and you need to know what rhythm was used for the vocal part, so it also fits with.
So it like
right.
Mathematically sounds nice, right?
And that's why you have the decks usually have at least 2. Mm-hmm. The spinning wheels.
Yeah,
right?
my friend taught me how to use the decks. Like that is so hard for me. Like my ADHD, like I can't listen to the song out there and then the song in here. It was so hard for me.
Yeah.
But what I did get into was producing music. I don't know if you knew that.
No.
Yeah, I make music. You can listen to some of it, and you can use it if you want.
So is it like AI stuff, or do you use software?
I used Logic Pro was my DAW.
Oh, Logic Pro. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There is like Fruity Loops, and there is plenty of software. Back in my day, Ableton
is still like one of the go-tos by most
was the thing.
Artists. Yeah, like most artists use Ableton, and then there's all these add-ons with that. But I'll play some of my stuff for you. I was asked by a DJ if I was a ghost producer, so I'm a little proud of my music because I don't know how to read music.
Do you post it anywhere? Like, do you have like Mixcloud, SoundCloud, Beatport?
Ronnie's
maybe
making one for me.
Oh,
he's supposed to be like doing that, but we'll see where that. I got to give him that, so I have to play it for you.
So yeah, definitely. Let's put all the links, guys. So, did you like this, the stories Sarah is telling you? Let us know in the comments if you want more of her. I do, but it's also about what the audience wants. Meanwhile, while we have this poll open, where do people how can people find you?
They can find me on Serendipity OF on Instagram, and then Serendipity on OnlyFans. Those are my two major outreach right now. So go ahead and look at the link below if you didn't catch that spelled a little differently. But also join us for the next one because we have lots more fun things to share with you.
Yeah, and maybe, just maybe, we'll do a podcast from Vegas at some point.
Most definitely.
As a dream.
Yeah.
Follow us on Instagram. Subscribe to us on YouTube. That's the best way to support content producers like me, like Sarah. Follow her as well. She is a multi-talented person, musician, content producer,
Thank you.
a teacher if you need a lesson, and
I can also organize your closet, but that's like the
closet organizer as well. Follow her, Instagram, all the other social media links. You have, I guess, a link tree and so on. We'll put it somewhere there.
Yes.
Subscribe, like, stay in touch. We are going to produce more content like this.
Boom.
Whoa, peace.